This is my review. Hello. This is my review of Guerlain's L'Homme Idéal Cologne. Released in 2015, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, this was released after the original L'Homme Idéal EDT that came in a black bottle with a white label. And then after this, the EDP was released. Now, I have reviewed the Eau de Parfum version of L'Homme Idéal, and I liked it, but I wasn't great. It wasn't a big love for me. Eventually, I ended up actually selling that bottle. I can't confirm yet, but it appears that the Cologne version of this line has been discontinued. The reason I have a bottle is because here at one of our big chain pharmacy, this went on sale. So this is a 50 ml bottle that I paid just under, well, in fact, $19.90 something when there was a sale. This is still available to buy at the same place, except it's selling now for $30 Australian. My point is, it's very, very cheap. Now, I did blind buy this because it seemed like a ridiculous price. I was about to go on vacation and I needed something to take with me that wasn't going to cost me money, and I wasn't going to care that much whether I enjoyed it or not. The reviews were good, so I'm going to talk about it now. The thing with the Ideal line is that there is a signature almond note which appears to run through all the iterations of this fragrance, and it's no different here, except as you would expect. That's very hard to say. Being a cologne, there are citruses involved, and to me, off my skin, this is the main thing that plays out from this fragrance. I actually get quite a lot of orange and bergamot in the opening, more so than the grapefruit that a lot of people mention when they talk about this fragrance. So for me, it's actually kind of a sweeter type citrus that comes out in the opening when you spray it. Now, the thing about this fragrance is it's interesting because now that I have several Guerlain bottles in my wardrobe, one thing that I find generally characterizes this house is that their perfumes have layers. There is complexity, even though a lot of times these are subtle complexity. There's always something quite interesting going on with the fragrance, no matter which fragrance it is. The Ideal line, I find, is kind of the opposite to that. These are quite simple fragrances. And I've said before, just because something is simple doesn't mean it's bad. And that applies to Ideal Cologne. I find that what I get from this is really, really pleasant. It's a really pleasant citrus opening. It's a little bit sweet. And, like everything else here is basically supporting the citruses. It's adding some depth. This opening is not your typical light, volatile citrus that burns off quickly. There's kind of a thickness and a depth to the orange and bergamot that I get here, and the almond note here, distinct to actually smelling an almond note here. It almost is implying itself. It's almost like the almond here is there just to reinforce the citruses. So yes, I can tell there's almond in there, but it's almost more the milkiness or the creaminess of almond, as opposed to the more obvious nutty characteristics that you might be expecting, and that is more prominent in the EDT and the EDP of the Ideal line, the L'Homme Idéal line. But overall, as simple as this is, it is a really pleasant. I mean, I have very nice associations with this perfume now, because I took it on vacation with me. I associate it with a great time that I had, and it just smells good. It works. It's not. It's really pleasant. It's not going to be. There's no way it's going to be offensive to anybody. If you like a slightly unnatural smelling kind of citrus mix, orange on me it's orange and bergamot mainly. There's very little kind of sour grapefruit happening here, underpinned by this kind of creamy almond, and then the gentlest of white musks, basically adding a little bit of as much longevity as possible. This kind of sticks around on my skin for about 5 to 6 hours, and then it's gone. But look, I'm probably not going to get more bottles because they're so cheap. Because 50ml, really, with all the bottles that I have, is gonna last me a long time. And it's not something I'd be afraid to reapply and respray. This does have actually pretty good projection. When I sprayed this on my arm earlier on, I didn't have to hold it up to my nose a lot to sort of get what was coming off my skin. I think you've got to take it for what it is, and I think because it's apparently being discontinued, there's probably going to be more hype about this fragrance than it probably deserves. It is a very, very good $20 fragrance. If it was, I didn't even consider this until it was discounted. So, I wouldn't have paid initial opening release retail prices. But for what it is, to me, it's a $20 cologne, citrus cologne, very pleasant. And you're almost going to have to forget that it's from Guerlain, and I appreciate this a whole lot more. I know a lot of people really like this, but I'm not going to sit here and tell you this is a great cologne, because it's not, but it's perfectly pleasant. And if you find it at the prices that it's currently selling at, then it's worth a try, and totally forget the fact that it's called L'Homme. I know a few women that actually like this as well. I actually really like the white bottle here. It's it's not the most original design, but it's good to look at. I don't have anything else to say about you, do I? One more smell. Yeah, you can't help but smile when you spray this. That's all from me. That's all from Guerlain Homme Ideal Cologne. Tell me which one's your favorite in this line in the comments, because I'm curious to know. I didn't love the EDP. I haven't tested the other ones enough to have a strong opinion on them. But let me know. Thanks for watching. As always, I'll see you all soon. Bye.